Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to tell you my first impressions of working in consulting, in particular in a Big 4 firm in London. So I just started 3 months ago and I did want to kind of capture my first thoughts. This video is not really structured or thought through. I just want to be really honest about how I'm finding it and the pros and cons that I found so far. So let's get into it and I'll just give you a quick overview of how it's been so far. So firstly, one big difference that I found based on my previous experience is that there is so much time and money invested into graduates and people who just joined the firm through the graduate scheme. I know it's not quite the same for experienced hires because I have some colleagues that are on my project team and they joined with experience in consulting already and they didn't quite get the same induction time that we did. But for us as graduate scheme people, we were given time to practice some consulting skills. We were also given time to network a lot because there were a lot of socials going on and just time in between different sessions to socialize with other people, get to know them. We had a huge cohort starting at the same time. So I think it was more than 200 people across the UK. And we did have part of it online on Zoom, part of it was in person, super luckily. The positive side of it is that you have such a huge pool of people that you can interact with and network with, and you're bound to find someone that you click with. And for me, it's been a very positive surprise how many people I click with. The second moment that I want to touch on is the actual work itself that I'm doing as an analyst, because obviously I just joined. I do not have previous consulting experience, and that has been quite varied. I feel like at first, naturally, you do very supportive tasks. But at the same time, I think what I found in my team and in the people that I've worked with so far is there is a lot of trust into everyone. Even people who just joined, even people who have no previous work experience. Here, I think they give you quite a lot of responsibility straight away. And maybe that comes from teams being overstretched because there is genuinely a ton of work to be done. So inevitably they will give you something and just say, you get it done, like it's your piece now. But I think there's also an element of being trusted. So the next thing that I found is the flexibility when you just joined. If you have been in consulting for a while, you've probably had to kind of pick an industry or you pick your speciality within the department that you're at. For example, you might specialize in the public sector, and within that you might be an expert in transport or education or government, stuff like that. So with time, usually you would be expected to kind of pick your niche within consulting, but when you just join, you are given a lot of freedom to try things, and I love that because I'm still figuring out in what direction I want to move. I was given my first project randomly, as were all the people joining on the graduate scheme. So the first one you were given, and then the next ones you have to find yourself. And while I am aligned to a particular sector, I'm aligned to public sector at the moment, I'm really considering trying something different. So that flexibility is really cool, and it's definitely one of the big advantages of consulting because I think it's rare that you can move around this much and try that many things while still staying in the same role and in the same job. Now moving on to a bit of a reality check and things that are not as rosy. There are obviously moments where you have to work later. It's not a 9-to-5 job at all. So whatever is written in your contract, it's not quite what happens in reality. And in fact, even in the contract, which is really interesting, it's kind of written that you have to overwork if the client demands it, in a way. So the way it's phrased is you have to put in extra time if that is needed for you to deliver the work that you should be delivering. So what I found is that there is an expectation that you will put in extra time if you need to, and I have, but not to an extreme that I was worried about. I'm very aware that that might not be the case on every project that I'm on, but with the current one, I think the whole team is very supportive of you having your balance and you not compromising on things that are important to you. So quite honestly, I'm content with how it is. And another positive thing that is related to time is that when you want to take time off, in my firm generally, but in my team in particular, there are no huge questions asked. You just book it in, you let your team know, and then they will adapt to it and plan accordingly. Yeah, sometimes in some teams, you might be told that, well, that's not the most convenient time, blah, blah, blah. But if you stand your ground, you have your time off when you want to have it. Of course, if everyone goes at the same time and the whole thing like crashes and burns, maybe that's not the best. You might be asked not to take it at that time, but I think generally everyone is very supportive of you using your annual leave the way you want to, and also you keeping your other commitments going. Another thing I want to touch on is the internal politics that I heard a lot about when I was watching videos about consulting before I applied, and a lot of people say that there's so much political stuff going on, and to kind of make progress in your career within consulting, you have to play the game in a way. And my thoughts on this so far are that a lot of stuff has to do with networking, which is slightly annoying because if you don't network, your work is not kind of seen and appreciated in terms of promotions and stuff like that. So in a way, the louder you are about your work, the better for you, which I don't think I necessarily agree with as the best way to progress, because there might be some people who don't want to shout, but then they are doing really high quality work. But on the other hand, I don't mind it. It makes sense that a lot of things are through networking, because if you connect to the right people, you can make your way in the direction that you want to. And the reason why I don't mind it is because so far I found that everyone is really, really approachable. So you can literally email a partner, you can email a director and ask them for 15 minutes of their time or half an hour if you're lucky. And most of the time they'll say yes, and they'll put in the time and they'll be happy to talk to you. So it's not the case where it's very exclusive with regards to connecting with people. It's very open, and you can genuinely just look someone up on the internal website and then see that they're doing the thing you're interested in. And then you just message them and you ask, could you please spend 15 minutes of your time to talk to me, because I really want to know about this and this. And almost always it will be a yes. People are genuinely happy to share their experience. They're happy to connect you to other people. So in that way, while it's not quite a meritocracy in the sense that the more you're seen and the more you're heard, the better you will progress, it seems so far. It's also a very open and approachable non-meritocracy. That makes any sense at all, but that's what I think so far. I've obviously not had to face the promotion decisions yet. I've not had to face difficult conversations yet, so my thoughts on this might change. I might hate the way the process works, but so far I kind of don't mind it. I think I'll wrap it up here. I might make a more detailed video about the pros and cons and what a workday in consulting typically looks like. All of that stuff will be coming at some point, but for now, thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, please let me know and I'll get back to you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.